This meeting of the Oak Park City Council is called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will City Clerk Ed Norris please call the roll?
Mayor McClellan. Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Here.
Councilmember Seligson.
Here.
Councilmember Burns.
Here.
Councilmember Speech.
Here.
Okay, there is one addition to the agenda. Under 5, please add L, which is a request to cancel the September Planning Commission meeting due to lack of quorum. Given that change, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Support?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. The consent agenda, the following are routine items presented for council approval without discussion as a single item. Anyone can have one of these items removed from the list and considered separately. A, special council meeting minutes of August 17th, 2015. B, regular council meeting minutes of August 17th. Zoning Board of Appeals meeting minutes of July 28th. Request to cancel the Arts and Cultural Commission meeting of September 16th. Request to reschedule the Zoning Board of Appeals regular meeting of September 22nd to September 30th. F, Public Safety Activity Summary for 2015. G, approval to pay BSNA Software for the support contract in the amount of $29,161. H, Beautification Advisory Commission resolution and recommendation for nominees for the year 2015 Beautification Awards. Payment of invoice from PSI for material testing on the water main and sewer construction projects in the total amount of $4,535. Request approval for payment of invoices from Orchard Hills McClemick for water reservoir pumping station improvements, traffic signal design, and boulevard rehabilitation in the total amount of $22,539.95. Licenses, new and renewals, is submitted for September 8th, 2015, and the cancellation of the September Planning Commission meeting. A motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Seligson.
Yes.
Councilmember Speech.
Yes.
Okay, next is recognition of visiting officials. Am I missing anybody out there? Okay. Number 7 is special recognition presentations. City Manager Tungate, I believe you have one for a deserving employee.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council, and members of our esteemed public. I have the honor of selecting our employee of the month, Tanya Mitchell, who's here. Tanya, if you could stand up. In our Department of Public Works. I want to give a little history here first. She was a public safety officer for the Detroit Public Schools for 17 years. She was laid off and began taking college courses. From there, she was hired here at the City of Oak Park back in 1996, by the way, I should add. So this was not recent. She's been a committed employee for this long. She is she's a disc jockey. She has so many hobbies, it's wonderful. And she is one of our unsung heroes here at the city. And I want to thank you so much for all of your hard work, your commitment, your dedication, all the wonderful things that you do here for our residents that oftentimes goes unnoticed but is greatly appreciated. So if you'll, I don't know if our Assistant City Manager wants to say a few things.
Thank you. Yeah, I am pleased that Jitanya was chosen. She has been a great asset to our department. As you had mentioned, she started with the city probably 20 years ago, and she more recently, about 5 years ago, wanted to come back. I didn't know who she was. A few employees said, no, we have to bring her. If she wants to come back, we have to bring her back. So we did. A couple funny things about Jitanya is she takes great pride in her work. She takes great pride in what she does. She even goes so far as she gets a piece of equipment, she wants to take good care of it. She doesn't want other seasonals to get a hold of it, so she hides it in the women's restroom. So that's just the care that she takes. She doesn't want anything misplaced or mishandled, so she'll hide it or do whatever she has to do to make sure it remains in good shape. So we're very pleased to have her, and it's a great honor for her.
And she helps me maintain my obsessive compulsive disorder with the city's appearance,
Yeah.
right? Okay, that's the most important thing, right? So if, council members, if you would, please come with me to have our photos taken. Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have special licenses. We have a 10A, request for special license and waiver of the application fee is submitted by Julie Miller, 24-21 Rensselaer, for the annual Rensselaer Block Party to be held on September 12th, 2015. We need a motion to approve this request.
So moved.
Second.
Support.
Okay, any discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. 10B, request for a special event license and a waiver of the application fee is submitted by Tom Zarafa, 24-320 Seneca, for the annual Seneca Street Block Party to be held on September 13th, 2015. We need a motion to approve the request.
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 11, accounting reports. Need a motion to approve payment of an invoice submitted by Garen Luca Miller for legal services in the total amount of $5,146.34.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine?
Yes.
Mayor McClellan?
Yes?
Councilmember Selleckson?
Yes.
Councilmember Speech?
Yes.
Councilmember Burns?
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 11B, approval for payment of an invoice submitted by Seacrest, Wardle, Lynch, Hampton, Truex, and Morley for legal services in the amount of $3,265.68. We need a motion to approve this payment.
So moved.
Support.
Second.
Second, any discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan?
Yes.
Councilmember Selleckson?
Yes.
Councilmember Speech?
Yes.
Councilmember Burns?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine?
Yes.
Item 12A, we have a bid award for the 2015 sewer and catch basin cleaning and televising project, M626, to Terra Contracting Incorporated of Kalamazoo, Michigan, in the total amount of $174,878. A motion to award this bid.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion or questions? Can we have Yes, please.
No, I was just going to point out that this is an amazing variation in the prices here. We have a bid for almost $500,000, and then we have this one that we are going to award tonight, hopefully, for $174,000. I was just blown
Can
away.
they actually do
Three
it for
times,
that?
yeah, and good references and everything, so. it's
Right.
Just
So
amazing.
can we have Assistant City Manager Yee come up and discuss this? That is probably the biggest range we've seen.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you. There's a large range in this project. Actually, the contract unit prices were surprisingly low. We're looking at prices from about 2012, when there was a big dip and prices were really low. They've since come up quite a bit, but this contractor, who we've used before, and we're completely confident they can do the job, bid prices from a few years back. So we're very pleased with the bid and pleased with the contractor, and confident that they'll get the job done and do a good job.
Any other questions?
I'm-
Yes, Councilmember Speech.
I'm just curious, as far as the bid that we did receive, which I appreciate, it being the price that it is compared to the others, is that what the normal fees would be? Have these other people, the $500,000, is that way over?
The $500,000 is probably out of line as far as
Okay.
being high. The middle bidder is probably more where we expected it to be,
Okay,
and the low bidder, like I said, is quoting prices from a few years back, so.
great, so that's great.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you. Roll call then, please.
Councilmember Selleckson.
yes.
Councilmember Speech.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes, motion carried. Item 12A. Bids,
13A.
13, thank you. Let's see. 15, there's 13, got it. We are on second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend Article 3, Boards and Commissions, Chapter 2, Administration of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oak Park by amending Division 6, Cable Television Advisory Commission thereof, changing the duties of said commission. A motion to accept the second reading and adoption,
So moved.
and we need a
Second.
support. I wonder if someone could come and explain what they're changing.
Oh, you're the chair, I think.
Okay, we've got the chair of the commission, and we've got our communications director.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council. The reason what we're changing is primarily to bring us into line with what the function of the actually is. Initially, the Communications Commission, when it was called the Cable TV Advisory, had a lot to do with setting and advising the rates and stuff like that for cable TV. And cable TV back then was really our major communications media. So we've asked to change the ordinance to bring it more in line with what we actually want to do and how we can best serve the residents and people. For example, now we're dealing with social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. None of those existed when the original ordinance language was placed. So we just feel that this change in the wording will enable us to better serve the community.
Now, the name has been changed to the Communications Commission, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Any other questions? Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for your service, and thanks for coming. We need a roll call, please.
Councilmember Speech.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Selleckson.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. 13B. There's something odd. Out of order. Okay, item 13B is the second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend Appendix A zoning, Article 3, and the official zoning map contained therein being part of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oak Park by changing the use district of certain parcels of land in Section 33 and currently zoned R1, one-family dwelling district, to RM1, multifamily residential district. We need a motion for the second reading and adoption.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion or questions? I had a few things to say. If anybody wants to see the photos of the similarly constructed complex that this organization did, we have them for you and can email them to you. I was amazed because they look like something that would be in West Bloomfield, and they look beautiful. And the facility that is 15 years old, because we asked to see an older one, not one that was just built fresh and shiny. And it still looks fresh and shiny, and the tulips aren't crooked. So this is a well-maintained complex that this organization has run. Certainly, according to everything we've read, there is going to be less traffic than a school would generate. There are plans for dog runs and other uses being developed. There will not be Section 8 housing in this development. If someone's friend moves in, somebody gets a home here, and a friend moves in who is a criminal, then that person is evicted. So there is not a question of any criminal activity going on in this kind of thing. There were many legitimate objections that we listened to carefully and are being treated very seriously by the City Council. We care what you think, and we want you to be happy in your neighborhood. Other objections that I have heard sounded like thinly veiled racism to me, and I found very disturbing. Despicable, actually. These are moderately priced homes. They are going to be well maintained. You can't pick someone who lives next door to you. If you own a home, anybody can move next door to you. You can't pick them out. 10 people are applying for every single opening, and wouldn't you like to have the option on your own block, maybe, of choosing the best of 10? There are special needs people, a small number, but these people include somebody from abusive relationship, a mother and children from an abusive relationship, somebody with mobility issues, somebody with health issues, somebody who is not stable, is not likely to be able to pass all of the tests that are required. So we had all of the objections that we have heard on City Council. We looked into them and researched them carefully. We asked every question that you have asked, and we are comfortable that this is going to be a development that will be a boon to this neighborhood. It is a neighborhood with mid and low income housing in it right now. I feel that next year at this time, we're all going to be saying, wow, that was a really good idea. And that's why we are supporting this. So I think we are ready for, unless there are further questions or comments, ready for a roll call.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes,
Councilmember Seligson.
Yes.
Councilmember Speech.
Yes.
passed unanimously, thank you. City Attorney Ebony Duff, do you have any report to?
Good evening, Madam Mayor. I have no report this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
City Manager Eric Tungate, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. I'd first like to ask our Assistant City Manager, Kevin Yee, to join me at the podium. We have what I think is some pretty good news here regarding this funding. Kevin, take it away.
Thank you. Before I start, this item is a contract with MDOT for traffic signal replacement along 9 Mile Road and a couple of signals on Coolidge as well. This project is 100% federally funded, and with the exception of any overages. When we were designing the project and we were researching and looking at 9 Mile Road as one of our main corridors, one of the things that we had identified is having mast arm signals on that corridor to match what's at 9 and Coolidge. So we asked OHM when they were designing it to add in the mast arm signals, which put their estimate at about $135,000, nearly $135,000 over the grant amount of money. So we asked them to proceed and put that with MDOT for bid. So MDOT did bid this already. The bids came in on Thursday, so it was after I put this agenda item together, and they came in nearly $100,000 less than the engineer's estimate. So the good news is that we will now only have to pay $37,136 for all new signals, all new timing, everything on 9 Mile Road. So great news on that front. The other portion of this that was not released yet is the funding from the federal government was not appropriated yet for this group of projects. There's a large group of projects that the federal government had not released the funds for. I had asked that MDOT bid the project out, so we would be on the hook for all of it if, for whatever reason, the appropriation didn't come through, and it would be called an advanced construct, and when the appropriation did come through, we'd have to pay for it. But I asked them to go ahead with it because I didn't want to be later in line if we waited, and then they appropriated the funds. Sometimes those funds do run out. So I asked them to go ahead with the advanced construct. Well, they called me, MDOT called me on Thursday and told me that it has been appropriated and our project will be funded. So great news on all accounts on this. So some of this won't apply as I read through it, and I'll try to get to the parts that are applicable. But attached is a copy of the MDOT contract number 155441 for the traffic signal modernization work along 9 Mile Road in Coolidge. The project is 100% funded with federal funds up to $1,385,000. The city has requested that the traffic signals on 9 Mile Road be constructed with mast arm style signals, which increased the estimate by $134,600. Any additional costs would have to be paid for out of the major street fund. These traffic signals are not going to be constructed until the spring of 2016, so we've bid them out already, and we'll get them ready to go in the spring. It is recommended that City Council approve MDOT contract number 155441 upon review by the City Attorney's Office and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the contract on behalf of the city. It is further recommended that the city's share be funded from the major street fund balance for this project.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for this approval of this MDOT contract?
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Questions
Have a-
for Mayor Pro Tem Levine?
Just clarification, I think that on behalf of the residents that are in the area and walking through the area, that we will now have pedestrian signals there, which is a great benefit to everybody's safety. Am I correct in that?
You are correct. We have wanted pedestrian signals there for a long time, but knowing the cost of this, it was cost prohibitive for us to, in order to put the pedestrian signals in there, we'd have to modernize all the cabinets and the signals. So we've been applying for this grant for several years, and we did receive it. So that's a good news.
Great news.
Madam Mayor.
Lots of council member speech and then council member Byrd.
Assistant City Manager Yee, based on the changes that you told us about, which were awesome, as far as getting the federal funding and also not having to pay as much as we thought we were going to have to pay. We only had to pay the $34,000. Is that, or
37.
37,000, thank you. Is that all going to be amended in this contract, or is there, I didn't see any numbers in the contract.
There are
On the back,
numbers in the
Exhibit
contract.
1.
Yeah, page 9.
Yeah, Exhibit 1, that's what, where I'm at. So that'll be amended if we approve it tonight.
It shows that what the estimated cost is in the contract. Obviously, the contract will be amended to show that amount. We will get the 1.385 million as expenses on this project.
Okay.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
That was it.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Selleckson.
Yes.
Councilmember Speech,
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Motion
you.
carried. 15B.
Okay, I want to call Manager Maroney, our Economic Development Manager, to the podium, and I will also just give a brief how great this project is, because this is something that we've been working on now for, what, about 2 years, I think, at this point, given all the planning and processing. So this will be our Corridor Improvement Authority, and council members, this will be designating the boundaries of this particular development area. Kim, what else?
So in front of you tonight is for you to pass the resolution to designate the boundaries and actually create the Corridor Improvement Authority. We conducted the public hearings over 60 days ago, and we had to wait the 60 days before we could pass the resolution. So I'm back here tonight to ask you to pass the resolution. None of the boundaries have changed since we originally presented it to you. We are currently working on recruiting members to possibly serve on our Corridor Improvement Authority board. We need 5 to 9 members to serve on that board. Once this resolution is approved, we will work on actually interviewing and selecting candidates to be approved by City Council to serve on that board, and then begin our development plans from there.
We're just looking at the map.
Yes, I did blow up the map for you at your
Thank
request
you.
and
Yep, we
presented
have
it.
A map of the district.
Kim, we're looking at a spot here just west of the Coolidge and 9 Mile intersection. I think that's an apartment complex,
Yes,
sort of a carve-out.
yep.
And why is the apartment complex part of it?
It touches the corridor.
Got it.
Yes, it's the first parcel in off of the corridors on 9 and Coolidge.
Okay, and there were, Mayor Pro Tem had a question about 9 Mile Road.
Right, I know that we are going out to the city borders on all the other streets. On 9 Mile Road, for some reason, I know we've got a lot of residential in between, but I would really like to see the corridor take in the entrance to the city at 9 and Greenfield, so that those places can also have the advantage of being able to upgrade their property and appearance, because that's the first thing people see when they're coming in from Southfield. So if that would be possible, I'd like to include that area, because it's the only
Yeah,
it's the
if-
only entrance to the city that we don't have included.
I agree with you in that respect. Unfortunately, there is a requirement that only 49% could be residential properties. So what we even ended up having to do along the corridors, especially along 9 Mile, is just including the municipal portion of the property along the corridor to eliminate some of the households so we can meet that requirement. If we took the corridor all the way down 9 Mile to Greenfield, we would never be able to meet that requirement to establish the corridor. Not to say we couldn't establish another Corridor Improvement Authority to be just Greenfield Road in the future.
Okay,
Right.
thank you. Thanks for explaining that.
Got a question?
Yep. Councilmember speech.
Yes. So along the lines of Mayor Pro Tem Levine, I noticed that there's a space between, or it looks like from the map, there's a drop in the corridor, and then you restart it along Coolidge?
Are you looking where 696 Expressway is?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, and then is there a possibility that even though there's not an expressway there, that we can just skip those houses in the apartment complex and then just add a piece at the bottom as the corridor? Does it have to be continuous?
Yes, it has to be contiguous.
Oh, okay. So another corridor improvement would have to be 8 Mile and Coolidge, I guess?
Well, you can make a corridor just one road if you wanted to.
Oh, okay.
Council members, one more thing I wanted to add too is these corridor improvement authorities, I think it's not unlimited, but you can have more than one in the community, and they can be multi-jurisdictional as well. So if in the future we look to partner with Southfield, for example, we could do that.
Okay. Yeah, I think, Madam Mayor, if I may, I think this is an excellent job that you've done
Thank you.
on this, and I know it was a lot of hard work. And I'm very proud every time I enter, excuse me, every time I enter the city, I'm very proud at just looking at the signs that we have. That's an improvement, but I know all of these other enhancements will just go further to invite people in.
That's what we're
So
hoping.
thank you.
Madam Mayor, if I could.
So Corridor Improvement Authority, we're not going to see anything real soon because it's collecting of growth in taxes. So this is a 10-year
It's a 20-year plan that we are moving forward with.
20 years.
And it takes a while for it to build momentum because it's just an incremental tax that we get on all the parcels. There's a base value set as of pretty much today when we established the district, and only increases in taxes is what the Corridor Improvement Authority will receive. Our estimate for the first year is under $17,000.
City Manager Tungay.
Madam Mayor, members of council, I wanted to clarify just a couple of things, and I realize the complexity of this particular topic, and I know council's been very much up on it, but I want to make sure that everybody knows that this is not a tax increase. This is a capture of existing taxes, so no business or residential property or whatever it may be within the confines of this district will be taxed more. You're still paying your same taxes. It's just a capture of an increment of those particular taxes, and it's only the capture of the increment on the improved value of the properties. So should the properties not improve in taxable value, then there will not be a capture.
Right.
And one more thing, two more things actually. One is the Corridor Improvement Authority that we're hoping council will approve this evening is one of the very important steps that was made at the recommendation of our Economic Development Strategic Planning firm that we hired a few years ago to do our plan. So we're fulfilling just another step in that process. Like I said, it can be amended, it can be changed, the district can be changed, there can be more Corridor Improvement Authority boards added. We're hoping to have a board of directors appointed by this honorable body that can advise us and sit in the stead of this particular district. But I do think that while the capture of these existing taxes will be minimal over the next few years, I do think it's enough to get some of the more programmatic, festivals and things going that have been sorely missing in this district. And I do think people will see some immediate signs of progress in terms of the facade improvement program and the holiday lighting that you're going to see this winter season, as well as some of the additional flowers and other things. So there will be some improvements that you'll notice right away.
So these are quality of life improvements.
That, and for the business corridor, it hopefully will help to attract some new businesses into the corridor and new investment.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Was there another question?
I was just going to comment on this. I realize how difficult it looks. The only thing I've seen that looks like this is, a gerrymandered congressional district. And those are not easy to come up with. And it looks really, I know how much work it took to get this thing done. It's very difficult. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Speech.
Yes, I just had two questions. That was very, very funny. So I have two questions. One, as far as the board of directors, how are you going about seeking those before they come before council? And will they possibly be from outside of the city, or are they all going to be residents?
I'm going to take this
And
one.
then the second question, okay, you want to go ahead and take that one?
Yes. The board of the directors these are mayoral appointments, and as you know, here in Oak Park, as we just did in the special meeting before this, we do interview the candidates, so we hope to provide a list of candidates for your vetting and approval, this honorable body, city council. And in a corridor improvement authority, like a downtown development authority, some of those people can be business owners within the district, but not residents of the city.
Okay.
And they must be. The majority on this board must be business owners, so that if it's 5 people, 3 out of 5 have to be business owners and 2 are residents. And the residents have to live within a half a mile of one of these corridors so that they're impacted in some way. And the mayor is also required by the state law to be on this council and to this board. And the board may be anywhere from 5 to 9 people, but regardless, the business owners must be a majority.
Okay. And my second question was whether, I think I know the answer to this, but can the Corridor Improvement Authority go after grants and funding that's outside of just the taxes?
Yes, absolutely, and that would be one of the plans, something that we would include in our development plan.
Okay.
And Madam Mayor, if I could, I just wanted to add to that. One thing I will say, Kim is absolutely right, that yes, they can, but this is something that we've talked about as part of our strategic plan for City Council. Everybody should know City Council has a 5-year strategic plan in place. Part of that is that the city, from an economic development perspective, desperately needs a 501c3 fiduciary entity. And for those of you that don't know, our library just set up a Friends of, that is a 501c3. So what an advantage they have now. They can receive corporate funding, and that corporation may go and get a tax break as a result of their donation. Well, the same thing should be occurring with our economic development efforts throughout the city.
So is this going to be this board?
Madam Mayor, it very well could be. In other cities, I know in another community, for example, where I worked, we did that with the same board of directors, but that would be the will of that particular board and city council.
The Economic Development Director and I sat down with a list of the business owners and some resident ideas, and came up with people that we felt would be representative of different kinds of businesses and who would be very competent serving on a board. And we will be presenting those to you. I think you'll be quite pleased. Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
I guess a question for our attorney. Once this Corridor Improvement Authority is established and we have the enabling legislation here, and the board is chosen, the board would then be, would they be drafting their own bylaws, and would they be, have somewhat, some type of independence in terms of their being able to operate?
Yes, that is exactly correct. They will be required to hold their own separate meetings in accordance with the Open Meetings Act, set their bylaws. They will be working with presumably a community or city liaison, probably Director Maroney, and all of that will be established after the board, of course, is selected first.
Thank you.
Okay, where are we now? Resolution. So do we have the motion yet? Need a motion. Need a motion, a resolution establishing a corridor improvement authority and designated boundaries of the development area.
So moved.
Support.
Roll call vote, please.
Mayor McClellan.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Councilmember Selleckson.
Yes.
Councilmember Speech.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes.
Delighted to say that this has passed, and this is one of those things that on the surface looks like it's not too much, but down the road is going to make an enormous difference in quality of life in Oak Park. So this is a momentous, I think, historic moment.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. I'm going to take 15C. Our finance director is not in town tonight. This is an approval of an agreement between the city of Oak Park and Oakland County to open an investment account in their local government investment pool program. Just to give you a brief aside, we currently are investing our own operating funds, if you can believe that, and we've been doing this for some time. We currently are budgeting a number for our investment returns for these particular operating funds that would be increased, I think, at a minimum of at least 2 or 3 times if we were able to pool it with Oakland County, and it only makes sense for us to do that. You know, obviously my biggest concern with any of these funds is that we remain liquid, meaning if we need to access the cash, we can do that at any given time. This program allows for that. There are no limitations. We have to give them notice if we want to take out all of our funds and invest them elsewhere, but I don't see how this is a bad idea at all, and I'm open to questions.
Okay, we need a motion to authorize the City of Oak Park to open a local government investment pool, LGIP, investment account with the Oakland County Treasurer's Office, and to authorize the finance director or treasurer to sign the agreement on behalf of the city.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and seconded. Discussion or questions? Councilmember Burns.
Yeah, something like this, getting involved in this investment pool, would this in any way affect our grades, our city grade?
Or, you mean our credit ratings?
Our credit rating, yes.
Not for this year. In fact, I just hosted my 2 calls with Standard & Poor's and then Moody's, our rating agencies, and I just wanted to, since we're on the topic of our bond rating, I know there's been some discussion out there. We do not use our bond rating for Moody's to finance our bond debt. We are using the S&P rating, which currently is an A+. So I want to make sure everyone knows that our bonds, our public bonds that we debt service with taxpayer dollars, we have a 1.9% interest rate on our 2003 street improvement bonds. I challenge anyone to find a better rate than that. And we are actually in the process now, currently, and I'll be bringing this back to you hopefully at your next meeting, of refinancing our 2006 street improvement bonds. And I'm hoping to get, at a minimum, a 3% or less rate, saving our taxpayers approximately $700,000. And by the way, the previous issue saved our taxpayers $1.8 million. So we're on top of that. But this will not improve the credit ratings for this particular cycle. It may in the future. But to me, not doing this would be leaving $30,000 to $50,000 on the table. For what reason, I don't know. So it just makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions?
Yes.
Councilmember Speech.
You mentioned we have to give them notice if we wanted to pull out for any reason. How much notice is that?
It's a great question. The notice is, I believe it is 60 days. It's right in the contract. Let me just find it real quick. Notice in writing, it looks like 30 days, council member.
That's reasonable.
Absolutely. And, you know, my big thing would be that we are able to access our funds for, you know, payroll reasons, if it
Right.
ever came to that. We're nowhere in that realm whatsoever, but,
Right.
you know,
Mayor Pro Tem.
I think that's my only question was about liquidity and allowing for liquidity. How is that determined, and how do we make our wishes known to this governing pool?
well, I'll give you my rule of thumb, and that's the city maintains at least 90 days of cash liquidity. And we have, since the day I arrived in 2012, done that. We are a very liquid city. We have payroll ready to roll. We maintain a 10% rainy day fund if we need to. Not the least bit concerned with where we are.
Good. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Selexson.
Yes.
Councilmember Speech.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes. Motion carried. We have a series that we'll put together here. This is a resolution authorizing the city assessor to prepare special assessment roll, assessing unpaid charges together with a 10% penalty in the amount of $2,300 on private property for false alarm charges, $23,039.51 for weed mowing charges, $120,886.31 for water invoices, $24,287.60 for special pickup services, $5,363.99 for snow removal charges, $10,939.85 for sidewalk repair charges, $2,004.65 for miscellaneous charges. I need a motion to authorize the city assessor to prepare these documents.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Speech.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Selexson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Madam Mayor, members of council, 15K, I'm going to turn over to the city clerk, Ed Norris.
Madam Mayor and Council, before you, as we do every year, since it looks like 1993, we've asked council to approve free garage sale dates for the spring and summer months. You might ask why we do that this time of year. We try to get this on the calendar, these dates. So before you, the recommended action is to approve free garage sale dates with the dates that follow there, which is essentially the third weekend of the month.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion or questions?
I have a question.
Question, Councilmember Speech.
Yes. I just want to be clear that these garage dates don't limit the possibility of other things going on the calendar for those dates, correct?
I don't think they eliminate anything.
Right.
They're just, so they're on the calendar.
They're just on there,
Mhm.
okay. The only reason I ask is because I noticed that on this year's calendar, we have garage dates listed, and then there's no other events, and I didn't know if that was on purpose. So, but if it's not prohibiting anything, then, okay.
I just wondered, and I don't know if this is a city clerk question. Residents asked, we'd like to put up signs that people can see. You know, if there's gonna be garage sales, let's advertise it and not keep it a secret. And I wondered, how can we satisfy those residents?
It's a perfect segue for me to call up our Director of Technical and Planning, who's going to be next on the agenda anyway.
You know, the other question about it is when people have garage sales outside of these days, is there a fee?
There's a charge,
There's
yeah.
a charge, okay.
Good evening, City Manager, Madam Mayor, City Council. To answer your question regarding garage sales, it's against our local ordinance to place any signs in the city right of way. That includes all election signs, garage sale signs, mattress sales, home sales. It's a blight on the community and a normal standard. And I support the ordinance that's on the books.
So not to make any changes for garage sale.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Any questions? Yes?
I don't have a question, I have a comment, and I just want to be clear for the audience's sake, because I do see garage sale signs going up, and not necessarily on the dates that we have on the calendar for them. So can you explain what happens if someone does have a garage sale outside of these dates, or if they have a garage sale sign in their yard or in the right-of-way?
Well, our city clerk's office issues permits for garage sales, okay? The dates you're approving are for free garage sales where there's no fee for the permits. The permit is charged so we can keep track of where they're at and what signs are going up and limit the amount of garage sale signs, because some residents in the past have attempted to run a store out of their garage and driveway, and most neighbors don't appreciate it. Think of your whole question. They are regulated through permits through the city clerk's office. I think they're allowed to have 4 a year. I'm not sure the amount, but the amount they're allowed to have is regulated for the purchase permits and the free days through our local ordinance.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Let's see. Oh, so this is a vote to approve the calendar year free garage sale dates. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Madam Mayor, members of council, 15L, Director Barrett, if you could take it away.
Okay. I'm pleased to present item 15L. We found a qualified buyer for one of our last NSP homes. I'm requesting approval of the sale for an NSP home to a qualified home buyer according to HUD regulations. Home Renewal Systems, the city's marketing and sales consultant for NSP homes, is recommending the approval and sale agreement for the following NSP home, 13-11 Dartmouth, for the sum of $82,000. It is recommended the sale agreement for 13-11 Dartmouth be approved, subject to the following conditions. Final approval of the sales agreement and closing documents by the city attorney as to form. Final sales agreement, home value meeting HUD regulations. And item 3, home buyers currently meeting and continuing to meet the HUD regulations for purchase of NSP homes.
So we need a motion to approve this request.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion or questions? Councilmember Seligson.
Yeah, I just wanted to know how much we sunk into the house to get it up to code.
Well, I would say the city of Oak Park, has not invested any funds.
Right, I mean, how many, I want to know.
The investment is over $100,000.
Yeah, okay.
The benefit of this program is we are purchasing the houses that an investor wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole.
Exactly.
There was over $10,000 of the mold remediation on this house alone. And then in part of the rehab contract, which was $95,000, we had to clean out feces and chewed wires up in their attics from raccoons and other varmints, and take out all the insulation, put all new insulation in, complete new roof, new furnace. I mean, these are the homes that investors don't want to buy. And these are the homes that are the worst homes on the block, and we're turning into one of the best homes and putting a low-income qualified buyer in there.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Now, the funds available have kind of gone down.
Yes,
We used to be able to do so many more homes.
pardon?
We used to be able to do more homes.
Yes, we started with a fund of about $1.9 million, and we got additional funding. Right now, we are running on program income, which is the income we receive from the sale of these homes, and the funds are dwindling down. We're probably somewhere, after this house is completed, around $60,000 or $70,000, and we'll use the remainder of those funds for demolition of condemned homes.
Any other questions? Roll call then, please.
Councilmember Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Seligson.
Yes.
Councilmember Speech.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Madam Mayor, members of council, last but not least, 15M I'm going to take, and this is a request for approval for an agreement with Blue Cross Blue Shield to implement a minimum value healthcare plan to satisfy the requirements of the Affordable Care Act. So in a nutshell, this is a plan that with all of the, and we have many 30-hour-a-week or fewer employees who work for us, and as part of the Affordable Care Act, we are required to provide them access to a health insurance plan. And my recommendation would be to not recommend the plan that we have for our full-time employees, simply because of the cost the city would bear, but to recommend this, what's called a minimum value plan that has higher deductibles and higher premiums and would be a savings to the city.
So we need a motion to approve this agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion or questions? Let's see. Do we need a roll call? Yes, it's a contract. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Levine,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Seligson.
Yes.
Councilmember Speech,
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Madam Mayor, members of council, that completes the city manager report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. This staff has been very busy, I'll tell you. We are on the section of the agenda that is called to the audience. Please give your name and address for the record. There's a 3-minute time limit. We do not allow personal attacks on persons or institutions. Thank you, and
I guess you got me.
frequent flyer.
Yes, frequent flyer miles. Joyce Bannon, 10611 Troy. I have a few questions here. Almost $200,000 in unpaid fees. This is unreal. And this goes on every year. And it takes six months before this is even halfway gets resolved. I don't understand it, because I've had phone calls regarding how much you guys are overcharging for water. Water, $120,000 it's outstanding, and somebody's calling me and telling me that you are overcharging. This is blowing my mind. It really is. Okay, and on the Jefferson project, okay, are they going to be running TRWs on these people? And
Say that again.
on the Jefferson project, are they going to be running TRWs on these people? Because if you don't, I don't know if you're going to be legally not allow Section 8 in there, because that's I'm trying to think the word to use, discriminatory, that if they don't have the funds, that you cannot discriminate against Section 8. So I'm not sure about that, and then the TRWs need to be run to see if their credit is any good. And that was pretty much all my questions.
Thank you. City Manager Tungate will speak to the water issue.
Well, I'd just say that there is quite a bit outstanding in unpaid water bills, but I want to just clarify that if you recall back in our budget sessions for the current budget that we're in, that City Council authorized us to charge half of, not 100%, 50% of the rate that was passed on to us from Detroit Water and Sewer. So they gave our taxpayers a break from what we normally would have done and just passing on the rate increase that was passed on to us.
No, let's see. Unpaid fees, it's the unpaid fees. Are you discussing unpaid fees?
Well, the total, I mean, snow plowing, the grass cutting, I mean, it's almost $200,000.
Yeah, so
Almost
it's,
$200,000. Somebody's gotta pay this. We're paying with our employees.
We have to go through the fair collections.
City Manager, please explain this, because, I mean, we all know what's going on here, and adding it to the tax rolls and stuff, but obviously, it needs some explanation for Mrs.
yeah, I
Bannon.
think, council members, I think that, I think the 200,000, you're totaling all of these.
Totaling it all.
Yeah, and I mean, some of this is unpaid water bills. Of course, there are assessments for code issues. I mean, to me, as prohibitive as this number may sound, I mean, part of this, it's good, it's a catch-22. I mean, part of this is that you can see our improving code enforcement efforts here, that, mow your grass, take care of your property. Otherwise, the city's gonna write you a ticket, and we're gonna fine you, and if you don't pay that, we're gonna special assess you, and it's gonna roll to your taxes. If I'm a homeowner next door to someone who's not taking care of their property and driving my property value down, I would very much like this, that the city is doing these things to make sure that people are complying.
That's what got me here
Well,
every month. That my neighbors were doing this.
Well,
That's
there you
why
go.
I'm here every month. So I can ask these questions.
And then on the question, Jefferson, are they running TRWs on residents? Can we have Mr. Felton?
And can they discriminate against Section 8?
Good afternoon, City Manager. Evening, actually. City Manager, Madam Mayor, Council. Want to clarify on the Section 8 vouchers. We will accept Section 8 vouchers from tenants that have a portable voucher. Those are transportable, and we will accept those if they meet the other criteria that we've established for tenancy.
What are the other criteria?
Would be all of the income, the ability to pay their portion of the rent, the criminal background check, so forth and so on. So to answer the question from the resident here, we do run a rental credit check. And in addition to the criminal background check, I'm not sure which exactly it is, to be honest with you, but we've got a property management agency that's been doing this for many, many years. So, but somebody with Section 8, if they meet all the other criteria and they possess a voucher, can rent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have another
I
question.
think you get one shot. Save it, call us tomorrow, we'll answer you.
I'll come back next month and ask.
You can always call, always call. Anybody? Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Levine, this is called to council.
Okay, it's 8 o'clock. The slow roll will eventually be coming back to the library. They're out there tonight. If anybody's interested and hasn't been able to make it because the slow roll has been on Tuesdays,
What's the new name?
excuse me, it's now called the Easy Roll. Thank you for correcting me. But the Oak Park Easy Rollers will be out on Thursday for the next 3 weeks because of the holiday schedule, and it might make it easier for people that couldn't make it Tuesday. So please let your neighbors know, and meet at the library Thursdays for the next 3 weeks at the library parking lot.
Very popular, lots of fun.
We are moving into the holiday season, the Jewish holiday. It's back to school time. It's the end of the summer break for a lot of people. It's a time of new beginnings, and I just want to wish everybody the very best and very productive, happy year, healthy year for everybody. Good night.
Thank you. Council member speech.
Yes, I just want to say congratulations to all the moms and dads and caretakers that got their kids off to school today and home. safely, first day of school. I always I remember from being on the school board how exciting, but also how frightening that day can be. So you did it. You made it past the first day. Also want to mention that, to be patient, there's some construction going on at Greenfield between Mount Vernon or Oak Park Boulevard and 10 Mile. And I've seen a couple of fender benders, and they haven't moved much. So it takes a lot of patience. You may want to consider going another route, because we do have pedestrians in the city, and sometimes I've seen that they've kind of come into some close calls because of people being impatient with that construction. And also, I just want to mention that you should remember to stay hydrated. If you're going to be in the sun, make sure you have sunscreen and be safe, because it has been hot lately. Summer's almost over, but for some reason, we've gotten a lot of heat. And have a nice night.
Thank you. Councilmember Burns.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out to our city council meeting. It does me great pleasure to see anytime our residents come to the city council meetings. I just want to make a few announcements. The Oak Park Recycling and Environmental Conservation Commission and SACRA will be hosting our second electronics recycling event on Sunday, September 20th from 10 to 2. You can go to our website and get additional information. This is the flyer. Our first one was very successful. We hope to have the same success with the second electronics recycling event. You can drop off your CD players, microwaves, monitors, printers, any type of electronic gadgets that you have just sitting around the house. Cell phones as well. Also, the Recreation Committee has confirmed that we will be having our Happy Halloween Trunk or Treat event on October 31st this year at the Community Center in the Oak Park Recreation Department. You may go to our website also and get the flyer for our yearly Halloween event. Also to inform you that registration has begun for fall classes. Most classes will begin on November the 14th. We have our fitness classes, karate classes, judo classes, basketball, and other events that you can sign up for. And on a final note, the Library Commission, I want to inform you that we will be getting 20 new computers. Will we also be hosting computer classes for anyone who doesn't know how to operate a computer and for our seniors. The dates of the classes have not been set yet, but they will be coming in the very near future. Thank you very much and have a pleasant evening.
Very informative, thank you. Councilmember Seligson.
I was just going to warn everybody to stay off the streets around 10 o'clock. That's when I'm on my bike. It's not the slow roll. And have a good night.
There being no further business to come before this council, this meeting is adjourned. Good night.